Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Whole Perspective. My name is Kevin Delory, Chief Lending Officer with EPM. As always, joined by my good friend, Kenny Phillips, Senior Vice President of EPM Wholesale. And today we have a special guest. We have one of our own, Eric Skates. You know, Eric, I guess before we get started, I want to share something with you. It's funny. You probably have heard that anyone that watches the show knows that I constantly say, EPM, our culture is more than just a tagline on a business card or on a wall. It lives, eats, and breathes. And before Kenny does the introduction, I just want to share with you, I was away for a week. In the first half of the week, we went to Nexa's LOS Summit. And every person on there, all they did is talk about why they partner with EPM. And one of the things was it's the culture. Right. You guys get it. I watch your post. I look at what you guys do for your people. And it's like second to none. So everyone is out there trying to get that culture. And I'm excited to talk about culture because I think everyone has a different perspective on it. But you are our guru of culture, so we're happy to have you. Kenny, I'll turn it over to you for the introduction.
Sure. Let's welcome Eric. Eric, welcome to the show. He's
Thank
innovative.
you.
He's innovative. He's creative and an imaginative professional with 10 plus years of experience surrounding marketing, culture structure, branding, internal development, organizational planning, and corporate communication. Eric has experience in B2C as well as B2B and brings a new level of leadership to his team as the man of the people, they say. As Chief People Officer at our very own EPM, Eric unifies through collaboration every day, ensuring that the culture, the communication, the community aspect is intact. Eric is a light in our industry as well as our organization. He turns the word culture into more than just a buzzword, as some believe it is. When Eric's not working, he's enjoying time with his wife and his 3 beautiful children in his hometown of Atlanta. Once again, Eric, welcome, buddy.
And I know you have 3 children now, Eric. So my apologies. We're on the same page. Because the culture is so strong here. It's funny. I was part of a different company where we spent $1 million to figure out, have a company come in and try to tell us what our culture should be. And we got whiteboards out and easels and we started writing down what was important and just bang, boom, we're going to put this into play and it's going to be, never heard it again after that day. Right. Heard it that one day, did a whiteboard. We had some contest of who could remember what the core values are. Here, there's no asking what they are. It's just common. It's just not because they're on a wall, not because they're on a business card. It's because they live, they eat, they breathe. Why are core values so important to a culture and to an organization?
Well, number one, you've got to have core values of your own, number one. And so I think what's really great about EPM is each person in leadership and, within the company too, all have their own core values that align with the core values of EPM. And so, we did that too. We took the time and we sat down and we looked at everything from the nth degree from, does unified through collaboration fit here? And does struggle well fit here? And in that it's been a labor of love because we've all sat down on a regular basis and we've talked about how these core values need to fit in our lives every single day. Right. And at first, we had 23 and to your point, nobody could remember them all. And so we knew that we had to evolve and continuously improve ourselves. And in doing that, we came up with the 4 core, which all of our 23 fundamentals laid under. And so in that, we ended up working out a better structure for the company so that we can all work together in a seamless way every day where we're all pushing those values to our brokers, to our consumers, to our employees and our coworkers.
Well, Kenny, I'm sorry. I to follow up on that. So how important is it for any executive, C-level executive at the top? Well, we refer to it as the basement, right? Because we're the foundation, the leadership here at EPM. This isn't 1967 Ford where CEO is at top and everyone drips down. So how important it is for anyone watching, because to the point I made earlier, I don't think the top of the house or the basement, whatever, within EPM's eyes, the basement really bought into that. So it never trickled down or trickled up to the people that matter, to the people that actually are going to make it live, breathe, and give it life. how important it is for that executive team to embrace the culture of the company in order for it to get to the point that we have it.
100% vital. Without all of us having the buy-in of what our culture is and what our core values are, why will anybody else, want to live by those? Because they look to Eddie, they look to Carp, they look to you, and whatever you're doing, it's kind of like parenting, as you are, going through your day, if you're not showing the way and doing the things that you need to do within our values, why should they do that? They're going to turn around and do the same thing that you're doing to a, partner of ours, to a real estate agent. They're going to speak to each other in negative ways if they see other people do that. Right. So as long as we're being optimistic and being positive and looking on the bright side in any kind of situation, which right now within the mortgage industry, it sounds doom and gloomy. And so I think within our culture, what we're trying to do is promote positivity in every situation and every day and show our team that we're behind them and that we're also pushing a positive message that we're here with you. We're on this path with you, and we're not going to stop doing what we're doing because we believe in it. We believe in the message, the mission, and the values.
All right. Absolutely. Now you have a very tough job. In sales, we have something to pitch, right? We have a product, we have service and things like that. So it's easy to gain the trust of a broker if you do the right things. Bringing in culture to get people to follow and believe is really difficult. Like you said, in our industry right now, it's very difficult. The market's shrinking. Companies are closing. We're doing strategic realignments, things of that nature. From your opinion, could you give the industry, what would be the top 3 things that you think can help drive culture in a tough market like this?
Number one, you got to remember it's not about you. It's about the people that you're working with. And if that's number one. So if you can, realize that, it'll be a game changer for you. Whatever is happening with the people that you're working with, sit down with them, lean in, ask questions, and find out how they're doing, how they're feeling. Are they having a good day, or are they having a kind of rough day? And if they are having a rough day, sit down with them and talk with them. See why. See if you can help them figure out how to get on a good path. Because in the end, that might determine a sale. That might determine a relationship moving forward. Number 2, this is a really hard question. So one, you've got to ask the questions. You got to lean in. You got to be part of the team. Number 2, I would say work with your team to ask them what they want, in the culture, because this is not the Eric show. This is not the Mark show. This is not the Kevin show. This is, this is right now.
He disagrees with that.
But overall, overreaching, you and I talked about this, ask everybody what they want within the culture. Right. We want to be able to make a customized relationship building, positive environment. And it's not going to be just from what I want to see, because that's not fun. It might be, for a little bit, but overall it could get really boring if we're just having Eric's agenda go down the road. So you've got to ask those questions and see how the team want to move forward and see what they want to do and see in the culture as well. And then number 3, to pull it all together, have regular communication. Ask them, not just questions about the culture or how they're doing, but how is the company doing? See what they want to, for the company to do as a whole. Ask questions and surveys. Regularly reach out and say, hey, is this working for you? Is this not working for you? And we do something called Q and Execs once a month, where we sit down as a team and we have a group call with the company, and we let them ask us questions, and we also give them updates of what each department is doing. And sometimes, it goes a little long, but all in all, we have that communication with everybody within the organization, and it's turned out quite well.
Yeah, Eric, it's great. You said something that a very wise person told me this, and they've asked me over and over. They told me over and over, ask more questions. And that's something that at EPM the if you believe in the culture, you'll be more interested than interesting. So you'll listen, ask more questions, and learn more about that other person than talking all the time and being about yourself. And the other thing, I mean, this is the secret sauce. You come up with your own core values, what they are, but the secret sauce is just what you just said. It's asking questions, getting to know the people, and more importantly, I always say conversation over communication. I know of no other company whose CEO will get on the phone with groups of people, once a month to say, what do you need from me? How can I better help you do your job? How's everything going? It's an open forum. Say whatever you want. What can I, so, and it doesn't matter if you're an IT, it doesn't matter if you're the top producer in the sales organization. All of these things are the secret. These are the things. Then the four core just ties it all together of what your beliefs are. And I think here, I really believe everyone believes in our four core. It's kind of tough not to. I think it's the minute you take a job. I mean, to Tracy's point, she said she's never been so happy at a place. It's because we listen, because we're having conversations, we're asking the questions, and we don't always agree. One of the things that we feel strongly about is embracing conflict. Why? It sounds like such a dirty word. Oh my God, you guys are having conflict. You must be fighting. No, it's just we're going to go to that uncomfortable moment where we're honest with each other and we talk about something that we might not be in agreement with. And 99.9% of the time, the people leave that call feeling the best they've ever felt, feeling renewed, and just in a better place than they were before they got on there. And that is culture. It's really making sure that everyone is heard. There's that open line of conversation, communication, between everybody. I did it for the first time last week, at a challenge. Hey, if you guys believe in it, do you do it? I went and did it. And it was a game changer for me. I come out with the best ideas, how to improve EPM wholesale from those conversations. So yeah, absolutely, Tracy. I mean, those are the things that are different. Anyone that's been at a different company, that they say they paint culture on the wall, they put a tagline in the back of their business cards or their slogan, we're the company that cares. Don't put it in writing. If you're the company that cares, you'll show it. I think that's something that you get at EPM, and you're a real driving force in that, of driving that home daily to be like, we are we are in tough times. Do you know why we set a record this month? Because of our culture. Because everybody's in the right mind frame. They enjoy coming to work every day. When you feel like you're just coming to work every day to get a paycheck, I literally just got off another training call, a leadership call, where the same exact conversation was just had. And it was, our people come to work every day because they want to see us grow. They want to see us be successful. They're not just another paycheck. And then you reverse that around. The basement looks the same way at everyone that's in this house with us, that, we care just so much about them. Sometimes it's tough decisions to be made, but it's easier when you have a culture behind you and you have a team that cares. And that's something that Eric, in my opinion, is just taken to the next level. And, it is a tough time in our industry. But when we've had to have some, cuts or anything, you've made it easier for those people, because it wasn't just, hey, you're no longer part of the team, we move on. You take the time to help them find their next job. That's culture. That's people that care. So kudos to you for that. Okay, I know you got some questions to ask, but Eric, I think share with anyone. I'm starting a company tomorrow. Before you ask this, Kenny, because I want to know, and I think I know the blueprint already. How do you bring culture into a business? And it's not, we've already established, it's not putting it on a business card. How do you get everyone to buy into what that culture is to get to the next level?
Well, honestly, it's kind of 100 million little things that all come together. And it's not going to be just one big revelation of, okay, now this is our culture now. It's more of, the games that you guys set up together, the team building that you plan, the trainings that you have.
Choo-choo.
And everything that you're doing as a team that culminates over time. And, sometimes it takes patience to build the culture. It's not going to be overnight. And yeah, you can put it up on the wall, but if you're not living it, and then if some of the companies that I've seen who create core values, they weaponize them and they create them something where they turn it against each other. Like, you're
Right.
not showing the way. Why aren't you struggling well? That it's more of, how can we work together so that we can struggle well through this project? And in doing that, you realize, over the time, you all have this new vocabulary that you have together. Like, our recognition system is called Work Tango, and we work so hard to get that engagement up. And it went from 30% engagement back in March and April to where we're now at 68%. And so that's because people are showing that they care. They're also recognizing the people that they work with every day, and it's becoming a family environment. And when you do that, that's when culture really is cultivated. And it's not going to be this one thing that you do. It's all these little things that you do over time that come together to build your culture to be successful.
Kenny, we should have actually, did that like witness protection program for Eric, changed his voice and not put his name up there, call him anonymous guy. So because all these companies that are looking to build culture now, I'm sure will be emailing Eric. So we should have kind of had him, fuzzed out so nobody could see who he was. And yeah, you're right. So we got to make sure we keep an eye on his email now.
Right. Fun. We talk about culture. We've been traveling a lot the last few weeks with Jenna and Phil and Eddie and Jason Callan, and we've had some heavy conversations strategic wise on on the flights and things like that. And then all of a sudden it turns into laughter and joking and sharing experiences, right? And through collaboration, it says make things fun. How important is that? And culture in itself?
To keep things fun, if you don't have a fun environment, you're not going to keep people very long. I will say there's situations where, every day I'm not at the best of my, mindset. I need to be pulled back too. I'm human. And so I'll have a situation where somebody will come by and be like, hey, man, and just not kidding, like seriously, hey, do you need a hug? And it's like, I do. Thank you so much for asking. And, and in doing that, you sit down and then you have a conversation and then you joke around, and it becomes this situation where you feel comfortable in who you are, where you are. And that is that keep things fun thing. And we have a t-shirt that's, WTF, and it's like, where's the fun? And so when you wear that shirt, I mean, you get recognition, it's branding at the same time. And then it also shows our culture that we're, always up for a good time.
I will tell you that hugging does release dopamine to your brain. I just learned that on my last show, my last call I was on before I jumped over here. But that's, I think we'd all agree that it has to 100%, Phil, I agree with you. I think everyone here is unique and brings something different to this culture. Right. So, when you look at the top of the house, you look at, say, Phil and Eddie. Eddie is far different than Phil. Phil's far different, but they both throw their little something into the culture pool, right? And they got it to where it is. How important it is to have a CEO that actually believes he doesn't do this because, I think we'd all agree, he doesn't do this so he thinks he can get more production out of you. He doesn't do this so you'd like him more. It's who he is, and it's the company he wants to be a part of. But how important is it to have the buy-in of the person that sits in the basement, and because sometimes it's really lonely in that basement, but as Eddie always says, it's also where the parties are and it's the most fun room in the house. But how important it is to have his buy-in on that culture and his stamp of approval on it.
Without it, I don't think I could do what I do, and I don't think you could do what you do. We have to have the autonomy and the ability to, pull together initiatives without feeling chastised or having someone come back to you and say, no, we don't want to do that. And so trusting, and we know what we're doing because we have listened to our teams. We've listened to what people are asking for. And so I love that Eddie is 100% bought in what we're trying to do, because he knows that there's a method to the madness, that the chaos that we have going on here at EPM, although from time to time, what are we doing? It's actually turning into something positive. And the reason I see that is because I look at our metrics, I look at our analytics, I look at what's happening, and also the reviews that we're getting from our Glassdoor, from our reviews that we ask for internally on a regular basis, our NPS score surveys. We look at those, we respond to them, and we actually do something about them. Because if we don't respond to the feedback we're getting, then no one's going to give us any feedback anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons, Kenny. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we've always had this dream of being one whatever it is. Okay, one EPM, one brand. Insert the name, whatever it is. You don't want to create the, in wholesale, it's very easy to have this us versus them mentality with sales and operations. I don't even like saying those words because as soon as you say that, it creates two different silos. Right. One thing Eddie's big on is burning down the silos. And I think it says a lot about the company because I've tried this I've been in the business 25 years. I've tried this for 24 years to have this relationship where everyone looks at the common goal. Everyone's proud of the name of the company. Everyone respects each other's name and their brand and the brand of the entire organization. And this is the one place where it's been kind of effortless. I just saw Tracy's comment and she, I remember how many times I used to say, like, I don't like referring to sales and ops, so I end up calling offense and defense. Eddie calls it sales and sales support, or production and production support. We're all part of the production assembly line and we all represent this brand EPM. And that's something that wouldn't happen anywhere. It doesn't happen anywhere. Just so you know, I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot. I've been through a lot. I've never seen how a company's been able to conquer that us versus them. Don't get me wrong. It butts in every now and then, but with that core value of owning unique, embrace conflict, all of those things, we are able to overcome that, and be true to who we are. Like there's nothing here scripted. Okay. That everything is Eric Skates, as Kevin Delory. We don't try to be someone we're not. And that's who EPM is. And when you go out to these shows and AIM and everything else, people feel that and see that. They want to be met. They want to, they want to come talk to us. What's going on with these guys? They're unique.
So that authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're also authentic, on your social media, it's the same thing. Like that can actually give you a boost up. I mean, and it shows our culture. It shows who we are all the time because we're always commenting on each other's things. We're supporting each other. And without that support, then you're dead in the water. I mean, I have people within the company who I can reach out to on a regular basis and just check in with and say, hey, how are you doing today? What's going on? And some of them, actually come back to me without me prompting them. And they're like, hey, how are you doing today? Right. And so it's a revolving positivity train, choo-choo. And so you can continue to have that, positive feeling every day. And then not only that, with the authenticity of going through social media and going to a show, they automatically feel like they know you. And then they can talk to you about X, Y, and Z without this, getting to know you part because they already have this, feeling of, oh, Kevin does the whole perspective. I love that show. It's so great. Kenny does, wholesale for us. And he's so great on our social media on a regular basis. And with that, then you walk up to them at the shows and they can already have a conversation.
Right.
I'll share this with you. Phil and I were able to speak at LOS Summit and we spoke about talk is cheap. And one of the things I spoke about was being real. Like you want to be, to your point, those videos are all real. They're unedited. Well, there's some editing going on, but your feelings aren't, right? Or your words aren't. And I think that is a game changer. If you want to be different in this market and you want to create culture, one is open up to your coworkers. Tell them who you are. Tell them what you stand for. Tell them what your core values are. I know what my core values are. I wear them right here on my sleeve. It's onore, respete, amore. Love, honor, respect, right? So it's own who you are. It's own unique, right? And be who you are. And I think when you do that, people get to know you. People want to do business with us because of, who we are, what we represent, our culture. And, Eddie and I had a conversation like this about something similar about this yesterday. And just about people want the best for you when you're doing what's right by everyone around you. People want to see people win that have a great culture that take care of their people. I mean, am I wrong, Kenny? I mean, you think that I think like when I walk in here, I can feel the culture. I can feel the energy.
It's funny you say that because a lot of times we talk to people, they might be top producers, and we'll say, you know what? They may be a top producer, but they're not a culture fit. And we'll pass on them, which is, a lot of people go for the bottom dollar, but it's really not about that. It's really about, building the culture and maintaining the culture here. It's funny when we came on board here, we was, talking to Eddie and, figuring out what we were going to do. And we was like, it was on the defensive because the culture we're not used to it. We've been in the business 20 years. It didn't seem like it was real. We wanted to make sure that he was being authentic. And as the more we grew to know Eddie, we knew that this is who he is, and this is the culture that he built here and maintained. So, with that being said, how do you keep that balance, right? Because you've got a great culture here. How do you stay like top of mind without tipping that scale over to like, all right, it's phony or it's excessive?
Well, and it's not easy because it's just like a marriage. It's just like any kind of relationship. You got to work at it every single day. You have to have your mind moving all the time of, well, what can we do for the team today? What can we do for the team next month? What can we do in 6 months down the road that will be of value to who they are? Because like I said, it's not about me. This is about what we can do for others. Can we give a training? Can we give a giveaway? Can we do a big birthday celebration for, somebody on my team, etc.? How can we promote and share, the wins of the organization? And it's become really difficult with the virtual world because we can't just focus on the Atlanta office. We can't just focus on the Orlando or the New Jersey office because everybody's spread out. Some people are at home. And if we're going to do a celebration, it's got to be company wide. And so racking your brain of how we can work together and doing that kind of thing. Like just a few weeks ago, we had a tie-dye event. We all got online. We sent on a video. We sent a t-shirt to different people who signed up and a tie-dye shirt to tie-dye a shirt. And we did it together, unified the collaboration. We own Unique. And we really had a great time doing it. And it was just one little thing that we did to offer a way for us to have camaraderie and work together. Now, is this something that we do every single month? No, it was just a one-time thing at the time, but it turned out to be a fun thing to do, which we're maybe going to incorporate into our onboarding. So our experience that we have here as a culture, we're trying to up the game every single day. 1% better every day.
I think Eric has a camera in there because I did write down here remote environment because I was going to ask you about it, but you just answered it. And I think, that's the biggest challenge for everyone is with everyone working remote. It's easy here, right? Because I come in every day and there's 15 people in there, whatever, there's 18, I don't know the number, but, I'm able to walk over and be like, how was your weekend? What are you up to? What's going on? Are you golfing this weekend? What are you doing? And it's different. 100% right. I mean, he's so committed to the team. I agree with you, Phil. And I have the luxury of not having it remote. I can walk by and walk through that thing, walk through the pit over there, go by everyone's office, say good morning. Every Friday, Keith buys us all breakfast. So this morning we all have breakfast together. So it's a great environment, but that is a luxury in this day and age to have everyone under one roof.
Right.
So I'm glad you were able to.
I thought you were going to reach for a tie-dye shirt, honestly. When you went to reach for something, I thought it was a tie-dye shirt.
I will make a commitment to Eric. I will be on the next tie-dye event. If it's on the new, I think it's a great idea for the new hire training. I will definitely tie. I've never done it, and I will do it.
Neither. And so I did it for the first time too. But it only took like 15 minutes to do. It was a lot of fun, and we got to learn a lot about each other. So, think outside the box. There's different creative, innovative things to do that is not just a virtual happy hour. There's more things that you can do with your team.
I'll definitely be there for that one. So. Kenny, you want to have a staple question?
Absolutely. Before we let you go, the podcast is really about dividing value, and just like to ask you, how do you define your value within the industry or even at EPM?
Well, that's a great question. I would say my ability to find a positive or an optimistic in a negative situation. In doing that, like I said, it's not about me. If someone's having a bad day and I go up to them and they say something negative or, in some tone, nine times out of 10, it's not about me. It's not something I did to them, but maybe I need to lean in and find out what's going on. Ask them some questions and turn it around so that they can have a better day. So that's probably a value that I could bring, that I say that I could bring, is just turning a negative into a positive.
Love it.
That's awesome. Well, I'd like to thank everyone, as always, for joining us on the Whole Perspective. If you'd like to learn more, I know Eric's always willing to help anyone.
Of course.
You can always reach out to eskates@epm.net, Kevin@epm.net, kphillips@epm.net. We're all here. We're all willing to do whatever we can to, listen, in this time, in this industry, if everything that's going on, we want to be able to help everyone, right? I think there's no competition right now. We are wholesale. That's why we're this pin.
It's about the community.
Yeah, it's the community. It doesn't matter what organization you belong to. If you're in the NBA, if you're on AIM, LOS support, whatever, we're all in this together. Our end game is all to compete, but not against each other, right? There's enough for us all to win, and that's right. I would not be afraid that if you have questions about culture, Eric is the guy that can help you. Stop talking about it. Stop saying you have it when you don't. Stop putting these cliches on your business cards and painting it on the wall. If you want to know how to get a real culture where you will show, if you're an executive, to show the people you care about them, here's the guy, here's the expert you need to talk to. And anything you ever need from Kenny and myself, feel free to email us. We're always here to help. We got a lot of great things happening, right now. In an environment where a lot of people are struggling, we're actually hitting, records. And I think it has a lot to do, Eric, with our culture. Our people come to work every day proud to be a member of this family and proud to go ahead and get to the next level with EPM.
Well, you set expectations and you give direction. And so if they have a direction, they have purpose, then they're going to do well. So
Absolutely.
You've set them up for success already.
Well, thank you so much, Eric. As always, if you want to learn more about EPM, you can check us out at EPM Wholesale or Empower Brokers, or just email us directly. You'll see, we're always on LinkedIn. You can check out Kenny Phillips, Kevin Delory, or Eric Skates. Connect us on LinkedIn.
Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Always love new connections.
There you go. Well, Eric, thanks again, man. This was great. You are dubbed the King of Culture. Well deserved.
I like it. The King of Culture.